Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're on a pretty critical mission. We're going to distill decades of really high-level professional experience into a rock-solid narrative for one of the most significant interviews on your career path.
A very significant one.
Yeah.
You're sitting down for the Director of Information Systems role at IVHD.
Right. And it's happening right as that massive organizational merger with ECRMC is really hitting its most crucial phase.
This is not just an ordinary job interview. I mean, you have to think of it as an executive audition.
Well, on the panel.
The panel includes the current CEO of IVHD and your current boss, who is the future CEO of the whole merged organization.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're not looking for someone to just, keep the lights on.
No.
They're looking for the strategic leader who can actually integrate two completely separate hospital systems,
Right.
unify all their tech, and guarantee everything keeps running under, well, immense pressure.
Absolutely. The questions they're going to ask are going to be high stakes. They'll be all about merger readiness, your strategic vision, and I think most importantly, proof of measurable positive impact.
That's the key.
So we need to cut through all the noise and just highlight the proof points that make you the only choice for this.
And luckily, your own professional summary, it kind of gives us the perfect blueprint.
How so?
It identifies you right up front as a transformational IT executive with extensive experience unifying technology environments across multi-facility healthcare systems.
That phrase right there.
That's it. That is the direct, declarative answer to the single biggest fear on that executive panel, which is, can this person actually handle this merger?
So it frames your entire background as the solution, not just, a list of jobs.
Exactly.
Okay, so for you, the listener, we're going to structure this deep dive around 3 critical questions that every executive panel asks. First, how do you handle transformation and this kind of merger readiness?
Second, what is your discipline when it comes to data governance and delivering real, tangible, operational impact?
And third, how do you make sure that this new merged organization is built on innovation that's actually ready for the future? So let's unpack this.
All right, let's start with that first pillar, the transformational leader and merger readiness.
Okay.
Mergers are, they're inherently chaotic. The panel needs to see evidence that you don't just survive in that chaos, but you actually thrive in it.
Right, and that you have the vision to integrate the teams and the technology without everything falling apart.
And you've specifically highlighted that you have, and I'm quoting here, proven ability to integrate teams, consolidate platforms, and improve operational performance during organizational change.
And here's the kicker, supported by measurable outcomes.
That's it. That's the phrase that turns this from just a line on a resume into a strategic pitch.
It's the difference between saying, I ran IT, and saying, I implemented strategic changes that measurably saved the organization time and money.
And since you were literally sitting in front of 2 CEOs, that ability to quantify change is everything. You have to show you can align your information system strategy directly with their executive priorities.
And your competencies list this out. Executive stakeholder engagement. It notes your skill in aligning information system strategy with executive priorities to support district-wide clinical, operational, and financial goals.
This hits the political side of the merger head on.
How do you mean?
It shows both CEOs that you get it, that you understand IT is there to enable the business, not just be a cost center.
What's really fascinating to me, though, is the sheer depth of your background. We're talking 35-plus years of experience.
And a big chunk of that was spent in these highly regulated, mission-critical environments.
Right.
Like the Department of the Army, the Navy Marine Corps networks.
That context is absolute gold for this interview.
It is. It's more than just technical experience. It speaks to a kind of organizational fortitude.
So when they ask you about the intense pressure of integrating IVHD and ECRMC,
You can point to supporting virtualization for over 700,000 users across the Navy Marine Corps.
that kind of scale, plus the insane demands of DoD compliance, that's a powerful differentiator.
Exactly. When you operate in an environment where HIPAA, NIST, and DoD compliance are just part of your day-to-day, and those are all listed in your competencies.
You internalize this concept of a zero-fail environment.
Right. So the political friction and the operational complexity of merging 2 civilian healthcare systems, well, it's significant. It's a type of challenge you've managed on a much, much larger and more rigid stage.
So you're showing comfort and competence under the highest possible scrutiny.
Precisely. So if a CEO asks, how are you going to handle the inevitable resistance to change during this integration?
Your answer is rooted in that military background.
Yes. It's structured, It's compliant change management, where every single decision is linked back to the core mission. And in this case, that mission is continued, compliant patient care.
That is a very strong foundation to build on. Okay, so we've established the strategic readiness, but a great vision falls flat without execution, without hard numbers.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the second pillar, data governance and tangible impact. In healthcare, data strategy it's the lifeblood of everything, compliance, efficiency.
Absolutely. So how do we show that you didn't just maintain the systems at ECRMC, but that you fundamentally made them better?
This is where we deliver the knockout punch with metrics.
I think we have to start with that foundational work.
Yeah.
The multi-year enterprise data strategy you developed.
And the results.
The results are just undeniable. Improving processing performance by a massive 40%.
40%, that's huge. But let's ask the question the panel will ask.
Go on.
How?
Yeah.
Was this just, buying a faster server, or was it a deep structural optimization?
But it was definitely structural. You don't get a 40% improvement from a simple patch. It suggests a successful move away from slow legacy databases towards much more optimized platforms. Maybe a huge overhaul of their ETL processes or migrating heavy analytical workloads.
It demonstrates that high-level architecture planning that directly gets rid of bottlenecks and system lag.
It does.
But, implementing something that big, it often involves trade-offs. I mean, did you face resistance from the organization or have to decommission old tools that people were attached to?
And that is where governance comes in. You preempted that chaos
No.
by proactively establishing and chairing the Data Governance Committee. This wasn't just a formality. It created district-wide policies for data quality, for security, for compliance.
So that structure provides the mandate you need to push through those difficult changes.
Exactly. Like decommissioning old systems. The decisions become policy-driven, not arbitrary.
That kind of structured leadership is exactly what a CEO needs when they're trying to combine two separate policy manuals from two different organizations.
It shows you can harmonize standards across the entire new entity.
And if we need a specific kind of humanizing example of the ROI on all this.
We turn to the most striking win, deploying advanced reporting solutions that reduce report production time from days to minutes.
That's the anecdote. That's the one that really sticks. So walk us through the before and after. Why did it take days before you stepped in?
Well, typically a day's metric like that, it means manually intensive batch processing. It probably required sign-offs from multiple departments or these huge database queries that just bottleneck the entire system.
So imagine, say, a chief quality officer needs a patient outcome report on a Friday.
And they're waiting until Monday afternoon to even get the data.
Right. That kind of delay is just debilitating for making clinical decisions.
And by reducing that to minutes, you enable near real-time analysis. That improvement isn't just a technical win.
No, it directly impacts the quality of patient care, the speed of the revenue cycle.
It's a classic example of using technology to get rid of operational friction and just improve the business of healthcare.
And to give the panel confidence that this isn't just a one-off achievement, a fluke.
We zoom out. We connect this success with data, back to your history of handling massive scale. That work leading virtualization for over 700,000 users in the Navy Marine Corps networks.
It shows consistency.
Consistency is absolutely key.
Yeah.
You're not a leader who just fixes the latest problem. You have decades of this DNA for enterprise-scale planning and execution.
Which is exactly what IVHD needs for this integration. Okay, let's pivot to that final pillar, future-ready innovation.
Right.
Because mergers shouldn't just be about, duct taping old technology together. They should be a launch pad for modernizing.
Exactly. The panel needs to see that you're the one driving efficiency with cutting-edge tools.
Sure.
We need to show that you're actively thinking about how emerging tech can deliver practical benefits right now.
Especially within a constrained healthcare budget.
Especially then.
And your work at ECRMC, it showcases this brilliantly. You were a pioneering adopter of Juniper Mist AI-driven Wi-Fi.
And the sources note that this was one of the earliest healthcare deployments.
Which is a big deal. So why choose AI for Wi-Fi? What's the problem it solved that a traditional network couldn't?
Well, traditional Wi-Fi is reactive. IT only finds out a user is having a bad experience after they call the help desk.
And by then it's too late.
Right. AI-driven networking is proactive. It uses machine learning to predict and even self-correct network issues before the user notices. It ensures seamless connectivity for critical devices.
Well, like patient monitoring systems or those mobile EMR carts.
Exactly. So this immediately improved wireless reliability and the whole user experience, which has a direct impact on nurse and physician productivity.
So it's not just a fancy new toy, it's about operational resilience. That's a strong strategic choice.
It is. And beyond the network, we can showcase your focus on efficiency through automation, your implementation of robotic process automation, or RPA.
Okay, can you give us a concrete example of a task RPA streamlined? Like, what friction were you eliminating?
Sure. Think about all those repetitive data entry tasks, like transferring patient demographic info between different administrative systems,
Yeah.
or processing huge volumes of standard appointment requests.
Okay.
RPA takes over those predictable, high-volume tasks. It significantly reduces the manual workload for the admin staff.
Which frees them up to focus on patient-facing services or more complex problems.
It's practical, immediate efficiency.
And the overall result of this focus on automation and monitoring is clear. You implemented advanced tools that resulted in increasing system uptime by 25% through proactive detection.
And that metric is so important in a hospital where every minute of downtime can delay patient care or stop billing in its tracks.
And that DNA of workflow optimization, it goes back decades. It reinforces your consistency.
We can tie this modern RPA success all the way back to an incredible achievement from earlier in your career.
Which one?
During your time as an IT specialist with the Department of the Army at Tripler Army Medical Center, you reduced workflow steps from 75 to 3.
Wow. From 75 steps down to just 3.
An 85% decrease in workload.
That is just radical optimization. It's so interesting to see that core DNA, that focus on workflow, has been with you for decades.
It has.
But how has the challenge of optimization changed now that we have AI and cloud tools versus what you had back at Tripler?
You know, the underlying goal, it hasn't changed at all. It's still about eliminating unnecessary friction.
But the tool set is different.
The tool set is completely different. At Tripler, that 75 to 3 reduction was probably achieved through, brilliant database redesign, scripting, and pure process reengineering.
And today,
We use sophisticated low-code RPA platforms that integrate really quickly. The consistency just shows the panel that you have this career-long mandate to drive efficiency no matter what the technology of the era is.
you're not just managing legacy systems, you're fixing systemic problems. So we've really established a fantastic cohesive narrative for this interview. Let's just bring it all back together. You're fundamentally 3 things that directly address the challenges of this IVHD and ECRMC merger. First, you're an integrator. You're prepared for this multi-facility consolidation.
Second, you're a data leader. That's proven by establishing governance and achieving that massive 40% performance gain.
And third, you are a measurable innovator through AI, through RPA, and by delivering that 25% increase in system uptime.
And the core competencies that are really going to resonate with the IVHD executive leadership are all proven. Large-scale system integration, enterprise data strategy, data security and compliance, and regulatory and risk management.
You possess that executive-level framework to guide this transition successfully.
It's that combination of deep, mission-critical technical experience and strategic executive governance. That's your unique value proposition.
It is.
And here's the final strategic layer that just wraps this entire profile together. It ensures the panel sees you as a modern leader.
Okay, what is it?
We know you recently completed your Master of Business Administration in Technology Management in 2021.
That recent degree is crucial. It speaks to strategic relevance.
Exactly. The final thought that you should convey to the panel is that your decades of operational, mission-critical execution are now fully balanced and augmented by modern strategic business and financial insight.
So instead of just talking about the technical achievement of the 40% data gain,
Right. The MBA framework forces you to ask the next question.
which is,
How did that 40% gain directly translate into the financial goals that this new merged entity needs? Was it a reduction in licensing costs? Was it enabling faster clinical billing processes?
that is the final difference maker.
It is. The question you leave them with is this. How will this recent strategic educational achievement inform your vision for the newly merged organization? Proving that this integration isn't just some complicated technical exercise.
But a business strategy for immediate financial stability and long-term future growth.
That is the sign of a true director of information systems.